Everything you were taught about money is already outdated. School taught you to save money, get a stable job, put cash into a retirement account, and maybe, just maybe, you'd be fine. But the people quietly building real wealth today aren't following that playbook. Not even close. They're using a completely different set of skills. Skills that barely existed a decade ago. Skills nobody around you is talking about, not your parents, not your teachers, not your boss. I spent months digging into this. Studying the people who are actually winning financially in today's economy, not the ones who got lucky 20 years ago, but the ones moving right now while everyone else keeps grinding and falling further behind. And after all that research, I noticed the same 3 skills showing up again and again. They're not complicated. They're just new. And most people still have no idea they exist. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what those skills are, why they work, and which one you should start learning first. Here's what nobody tells you about the money advice we all grew up with. It was built for a world that no longer exists. Think about it. The save 10% of your salary rule came from a time when one income could buy a house, support a family, and still leave money left over. The invest in your 401k advice came from a world where people stayed at one company for 30 years and retired with a pension. That world is gone. Inflation changed the math completely. Today, the average person spends more on rent than previous generations ever did, while saving less. In most cities, a full-time salary doesn't even create financial breathing room anymore. And the old investment advice? It worked great if you started 20 years ago. But if you're starting now, you're playing a completely different game. The people thriving financially today didn't just work harder. They learned a new game, and then they mastered it. So what changed? 3 things. 3 major shifts in how money moves, how wealth is created, and how smart people are positioning themselves right now. Let's go through them one by one. The first skill is what I call digital asset literacy. And before you roll your eyes, no, this isn't about crypto gambling or buying NFTs of cartoon monkeys. This is something much more fundamental. It's the ability to recognize, evaluate, and build digital assets. Because right now, most people are completely blind to what actually counts as a digital asset, which means they're also blind to the income and leverage those assets can create. Think about it. In 1995, if someone told you that a social media audience, an email newsletter, or a library of online content could someday be worth millions of dollars, you probably would have laughed. Now, it's just business. A YouTube channel with 200,000 subscribers isn't just a hobby. It's an asset, one that generates income, grows in value, and can eventually be sold. An email list with 50,000 subscribers in a niche industry. That can be more valuable than many physical businesses. A domain name. A digital course. Licensed intellectual property. A software tool. All digital assets. All things capable of generating value while you sleep. And here's how people who understand this think differently. They don't ask, how do I make money? They ask, what can I build once that continues creating value over time? That's a completely different mindset, and it leads to completely different actions. So start by looking at what you already know. What skill do you have that other people would gladly pay to learn? What problem do you solve at work that nobody else fully understands? What audience, community, or attention do you already have access to? Those are the seeds of digital assets. And chances are, you already have more of them than you realize. The second skill sounds boring, and that's exactly why most people ignore it. I call it cash flow architecture. It's the skill of intentionally designing how money moves through your life instead of simply reacting to it. Most people's financial life looks the same. Money comes in. Money goes out. And by the end of the month, they're not even sure where it went. That's not just a budgeting problem. It's a design problem. Cash flow architecture is about creating a system where money automatically moves toward income-generating activities before it ever reaches your lifestyle expenses. Here's a simple example. You get paid. Before you pay bills, buy food, or spend anything, a fixed percentage, maybe 10 to 20%, automatically moves into a separate account dedicated only to growth. Learning a skill. Building a business. Investing. Buying tools that create future returns. The rest handles your lifestyle. But that protected slice, it starts working before you do. Wealthy people usually don't have more discipline. They have better systems. Their money flows where they intentionally built the channels, not where emotions and habits pull it. And once you understand the basics, you start layering the system. Multiple income streams, each with its own structure. A content business that automatically reinvests part of its revenue into growth. Freelance income that consistently feeds an investment portfolio. A side project that pays for its own tools, ads, and expansion before profit ever touches your personal spending. This is how financially intelligent people think about money. Not as a pile to protect, but as a current to direct. The real skill isn't tracking money after it arrives. It's deciding where it goes before it shows up. The third skill is the one people talk about the least, and I think it's because it feels uncomfortable to say out loud. It's called network arbitrage. And it's the deliberate practice of positioning yourself at the intersection of people and opportunities that most people never get near. This isn't networking in the gross, hand-out business cards sense. This is understanding that in the modern economy, access to the right people is a form of wealth, and that most people dramatically underinvest in it. Here's what's changed. The internet flattened access in ways that most people haven't fully absorbed yet. You can be a 23-year-old in a small city and have a direct relationship with a founder, investor, or expert who previously would have been completely out of reach. But most people use that access to consume, scrolling, watching, reading, rather than to connect and create. The people who understand network arbitrage do something different. They show up, they contribute, they build genuine relationships with people who are playing a bigger game. And then, because of proximity, they start playing a bigger game too. Your network isn't who you know. It's the quality of problems you're trusted to be involved in. Work backwards from that. Pick one community, one industry, one niche, one corner of the internet, where people are doing genuinely impressive things. And start showing up there. Not to pitch. Not to ask for anything. To contribute. Thoughtful comments, genuine questions, sharing their work with your perspective added. Over 3 to 6 months of consistent presence, something shifts. People know your name. You get invited into conversations. Opportunities come to you that you would never have found searching for them. Network arbitrage isn't about collecting contacts. It's about compressing time, getting to opportunities, partnerships, and insights years faster than you would alone. That compression is one of the most powerful wealth accelerants that exists. And it's almost completely free. So there they are. 3 skills: digital asset literacy, cash flow architecture, network arbitrage. None of them are taught in school. None of them show up in the standard financial advice you'll find in a best-selling personal finance book from 10 years ago. But all 3 of them show up, consistently, in the lives of people who are building real financial momentum right now. Here's what I want you to sit with. The gap between the people who are pulling ahead financially and the people who feel stuck, it's usually not income. It's not even savings rate. It's skills. Specifically, the skills that match the economy we're actually living in, not the one our parents navigated. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need to be born rich. You need to learn the right skills at the right time. That's always been the real game. Pick one. The one that feels most relevant to where you are right now. Give it 6 months of consistent effort, because the version of you that exists on the other side of that commitment, I promise, will not recognize the one sitting here today.